On March 30th, guest speaker Greg Mortenson visited Laramie County Community College to share his mission of education.
Greg Mortenson is a hero of education and a hero of helping other people. Please help me give Mr. Mortenson a big Wyoming welcome.
For coming here.
During his presentation, Mortenson proved his point on how education was so important by having the high school students in the audience pledge to graduate.
Those of you in high school, I'd like all of you to take a pledge today. It's somewhat tragic that in the U.S. today, of all the kids who start first grade, only 71% will graduate from high school in 13 years. In some parts of the country, it's more like 60% or 50%. So, is anybody here in high school? Okay, so why don't you all stand up? If you stand up only if you want to promise you're going to graduate from high school, right? Okay, just put your hand up, and you are going to pledge that you are going to graduate from high school. There's absolutely no reason why all of you cannot graduate from high school. There are kids who are blind, there are kids who are mentally handicapped, physically handicapped to graduate from high school. So. Let's just say a little pledge here. Say, I will graduate from high school. I promise I'll graduate from high school. All right. Okay, all right.
In Afghanistan, the children are really focused on their school. According to Mortenson, before the children enter a classroom, they take their shoes off as a sign of respect. During the presentation, he invited the crowd to remove their shoes as well.
If you go to any school also, when you get to the school, and this is in Afghanistan, Pakistan, you'll see that there's hundreds or thousands of shoes outside the school. Now, they take their shoes off, not because they're trying to be cool or comfortable, but it's because they have so much honor and respect when they walk into that school building. They don't want to tarnish the floors in the school, and so it's a sign of great respect. So I'd like just to have you maybe feel a little bit what it's like to be a kid halfway around the world in school. So anybody who wants to, for the next 40 minutes, you can take off your shoes. And now again, it's not because we're trying to be comfortable or trying to do something different, but it's because we are so honored that we are in a place of knowledge and education. So feel free to take your shoes off.
Mortenson said that in Afghanistan, only a few adults can read. He illustrated this by having a percentage of the crowd stand up, a group who included only 5 people.
5, okay, stand up. Very good, let's give her a big round. Keep standing up. Could you quickly pick 4 people, and both male and female, if you can, pick them to stand up. Doesn't anybody. 1, 2, doesn't have to be your friend or whatever. Okay, 3, 4, okay. There we go. Now imagine if you were the only people in this entire community who knew how to read and write.
Mortenson went on to tell how stories and fables were a large part of the Afghan society.
In Afghanistan or Pakistan, to the kids in the villages, how many of you spent more than 10 hours talking to your grandparents? Usually 100% of the kids say, I've done that. And I think it's very sad that in our society, we do not have that tradition where we respect and spend time and learn from our elders. Societies that are illiterate, they tend to have a very rich tradition of storytelling, oral history. And when we start bringing books and literacy, that tradition gets eradicated. One of the things that we do in our schools is we have the elders come in 2-3 times a week and do the storytelling so those kids don't lose those traditions. We can also...
Through his travels, he gained much experience in how to teach. One lesson he learned was how important education was to women.
And in Africa, I learned a proverb. It says, if you educate a boy, you educate an individual. But if you can educate a girl, we educate a community. So how do all the guys and gentlemen feel about this? How do all the girls and the women feel about this? When girls are educated, some of them become mothers, but then women are much more likely to encourage education in society. So the long-term real solution is not just educating the boys, but educating the girls.
Mortenson also talked about the schools that were recently built in Afghanistan. He also talked about what his goals were for the U.S. as well.
Right now, overseas, I'm pretty much a cheerleader. Now, I'd really like to just go over there, have fun, and work with the tribal people and help them with education, but we have, everything is running over there very well. It's totally run by local people. We don't have any foreign staff. This year, for example, we're putting in over 70 schools. You know, it took us 3 years to build one school. And it's not only about schools, but it's about teacher training, scholarships. And then my goal here in the U.S., what I'm finding is, you know, I'm a really shy guy. I'm also a very kind of quiet guy. I like to go home and sit under a tree with my kids, but I've realized, you know, the real enemy that we all face, including in America, is ignorance, and ignorance breeds hatred. So, but if we want to change or save the world, we have to empower the world. And empowering is about education.
Mortenson then received LCCC Pennies for Peace Program Award. He also received a donation for $2,400. Many students enjoyed the visit and hoped people would take what Mortenson said to heart.
Honestly, all of it was really moving. I don't think I had a favorite part. I think where he continued on about the stories, and when he brought up Krista, because I've read the book, 3 Cups of Tea, Unabridged and Abridged, I've read it both. Everything that he said was really motivational and really inspirational for me.
I wish there was more people like him. I really enjoyed what he had to say about what he did overseas, and if there's more people like him in the world, it'd be a lot better.